All right, so let's start this broadcast with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The Republican lawmaker George Santos' career in the U.S. House of Representatives has come to an end. The Santos, who spent less than a year in the Congress, now faces criminal campaign finance charges and is admitted to lying about his background and campaign trail. In a historic vote by over 100 members in the U.S. House from his own party, George Santos has been ousted. Two previous attempts to oust the lawmaker had failed, but this time round the odds appeared to be way higher. The Santos has long maintained his innocence and has said that efforts to remove him from his seat represent chaos and bullying in the Congress.
Because if I leave, they win. If I leave, the bullies take place. This is bullying. The chair of the committee putting out a motion to expel, just introducing it and not calling it privilege, was designed to force me to resign. But he didn't even have the fortitude to go ahead and call the privilege. He had someone else do it, someone who's actually just recently done one on me, which is Congressman Diaz-Esposito. So the reality of it is it's all theater.
Now, a bipartisan congressional probe released earlier this month found evidence that Santos had spent campaign money on Botox, luxury brands and even on adult content websites. That has now prompted some of the Republicans who previously had voted against removing him to withdraw their support from him. Several lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have defended the resolution to oust Santos in Thursday's debate. This includes the likes of the Republican chairman Michael, who strongly defended the report and has asked the lawmakers to expel Santos. The Santos currently faces 23 federal felony charges that include wire fraud, money laundering and the theft of public funds, as well as separate allegations of campaign finance violations. George Santos swept into the House in 2022, helping the Republicans grab a tiny majority. However, it quickly emerged that almost his entire backstory was a fabrication, from his education and religion to his personal history and professional experience. All right, to give us more information in terms of what, of course, this means, we're being joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Susan, what more information do we have on this? Why has George Santos been removed?
Okay, well, Mohammed, as you mentioned, just from the very beginning of his campaign, he had these outlandish, outrageous lies that no one could verify. It's actually surprising that he managed to get this far in the first place. He lied about his education, where he used to work before. But the latest from Santos himself is he was talking to reporters just a few minutes ago, and he said, quote unquote, to hell with this place, and said that he doesn't need to answer anyone's questions anymore because he doesn't work at, quote unquote, this place. So what happens next is basically the office of the clerk will continue to see what happens to, take all his stuff out of his office over there. But then there's a clerk in that office that will stay in case his constituents have any problems moving forward. But I do want to say that this is really remarkable considering the fact that the past few times that someone had an expulsion like this was for disloyalty to the Union during the Civil War, and then the two remaining times occurred when lawmakers were convicted of crimes in federal court. So, this was pretty serious. The Republicans decided to let him go, and, we'll see what happens with Santos moving forward. It feels like it's not going to be the last we hear of him, whether in Washington or somewhere else.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us and getting us those updates there.